So why do we write stories? What drives us to express our thoughts and feelings through the art of storytelling? To answer this question, it's important to look at the various motivations that can lead a person to write a story, and that's exactly what this episode's about. Hello, I'm Stuart Wakefield, an author accelerator, certified book coach and writer. With 26 years in theatre, broadcast media and coaching under my belt, I know what makes stories work, and I love to share that with other writers because the world of storytelling, it's like the ocean. It's deep, it's mysterious, and it's a little bit scary to those who don't know how to navigate it. And with so much left to luck and timing, it's my mission to give great books the best chance of getting into readers' hands. In each episode, I'll share tips and plans of action that will help you write, edit, and publish your book. And if you're new to writing or consciously working to improve your craft, then this is the podcast for you. As humans, we have always been compelled to write stories. And it's through stories that we're able to express our most inner thoughts and feelings, as well as explore the unknown and create new complex worlds. The reasons that we write stories are as varied and diverse as the stories themselves. Some people write stories for entertainment, others to explore their own experiences, and some to bring about change in the world. No matter the reason, the power of stories is undeniable. For ages, stories have been used to give shape to our values and beliefs, to record history, and to challenge us to think differently. Many of our most beloved stories, fairy tales, fables, and myths have been passed down for generations, offering a window into a distant past and conveying life lessons that still resonate today. So why do you write stories? What drives you to express your thoughts and feelings through the art of storytelling? To answer this question, it's important to look at the various motivations that can lead a person to write a story. For some, writing stories is an act of self-expression. Writing can be a way to explore our fears, dreams, and deepest emotions. It can also be a way to explore difficult situations or experiences that we may have gone through, allowing us to process and move forward from them in a healthy and productive way. Through writing, we can also share our unique perspectives with the world, and in doing so, create a sort of common language that can help us to better understand ourselves and each other. For others, writing stories can be a form of escapism. Writing can provide an outlet for creativity and imagination, allowing us to explore different worlds, characters, and scenarios. It can be a way to leave our own reality and enter a world of fantasy, whether for the purpose of entertainment or to tackle deeper philosophical questions. Writing stories can also be a form of social commentary. Many writers use their stories to highlight societal issues, to shed light on injustices, and to call attention to broader problems that need to be addressed. Whether it's through a dystopia, a classic fairy tale, or even a contemporary romance, stories can be used to start conversations, to raise awareness, and to encourage readers to act and create change. And of course, there are those who write stories simply for the joy of it. Writing can be a fun and rewarding activity, one that allows us to explore our own creativity and imagination, as well as share our stories with the world. It can be an outlet for our emotions, a form of self-expression, and a way to connect with others. Stories for survival. From a young age, we're exposed to stories that provide us with guidance, insight, and understanding. Through stories, we learn how to discover our inner strength, how to cope with loss and pain, and how to stay resilient in the face of adversity. We write stories because they provide a roadmap for how to navigate life's most difficult challenges, often carrying important messages, and they can also serve as cautionary tales that warn us against making certain choices. Through stories, our mind can explore hypothetical scenarios that help us to better prepare for the future. We can learn from stories that have already been told and gain insight into how to handle certain situations. Stories serve as blueprints for survival. because they provide us with the guidance, understanding, and empathy we need to understand and tackle life's challenges. Ultimately, stories provide us with the blueprint we need not only to survive, but to thrive. Stories for coping with conflicts and emotions. We often say that stories are a form of escapism. Whether it's in the form of a book, a movie, a play, or a song, stories have the power to take us out of our own lives and bring us into a world entirely different from our own. But stories can do much more than just provide a brief respite from reality. They can also help readers to understand and cope with conflicts and emotions. When we encounter a conflict or emotion, it can feel overwhelming and confusing. We may not know how to express our feelings or how to go about resolving the problem, and this is where stories come in. Through characters and plot lines, stories present readers with the opportunity to explore different perspectives and gain insight into their own conflicts and feelings. By immersing themselves in the story and living vicariously through the characters, readers can gain greater understanding of their own lives and the emotions they're experiencing. One of the most prominent examples of this is in the Harry Potter series. Harry's struggles against Voldemort and the Death Eaters are a metaphor for the struggles of adolescence and the difficulty of growing up. Through his trials and tribulations, Harry learns important lessons about friendship, courage, and loyalty. Lessons that readers can also take away from the series. But stories don't just provide insight into conflicts and emotions, they can also help readers cope with them. And this is especially true for readers who are struggling with difficult emotions or circumstances, such as grief or loss. Stories can provide them with comfort and solace. Ultimately, stories help us to understand and cope with conflicts and emotions in a way that's both accessible and enjoyable. Through story, we can explore different perspectives, gain insight into our own lives, and find comfort in the midst of our struggles. Which brings us nicely to stories for healing. The power of stories to transform and shape our lives is sometimes overlooked. Stories provide us with a way to explore our inner lives and gain insights into the lives of others. By providing us with models of behavior and attitudes to emulate, stories can be an invaluable tool in helping us work through our own faults and overcome our own challenges. The idea of stories serving as models to help us become our best selves is an ancient one. Throughout history, stories have been used to teach lessons, impart values, and provide models for behavior. From the ancient myths of the Greeks to the parables of Jesus and beyond, stories have been used to guide and inspire us. Even modern-day stories, such as superhero movies, can provide us with powerful models to live up to. In these stories, we often find characters who are struggling with deep-seated issues, greed, anger, fear, guilt. Yet, in the end, these characters manage to overcome their faults and become better people. And this is not just wishful thinking. There are practical, real-life lessons to be taken from these stories. By studying the characters and their journeys, we can learn how to better deal with our own challenges and become better people ourselves. For example, we can learn from how the characters in The Lion King deal with their grief and guilt. Simba is racked with guilt for believing that he was responsible for his father's death, and he runs away from his responsibilities. Yet, through the help of his friends and mentors, he eventually faces his fears and learns to accept responsibility for his actions. In the end, he takes his rightful place as king and brings peace and harmony to his kingdom. And the same is true of characters in other stories. So using Harry Potter again, he's an example of a character who struggles with his faults and learns to become a better person. Through his battles with Voldemort, Harry learns the importance of courage, friendship, and loyalty. He also learns the power of love and how it can help him overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And these lessons are models we can apply to our own lives and learn to be better people. The beauty of stories is they can provide us with a safe space to explore our inner lives and gain insights into the lives of others. By studying characters and their journeys, we can learn how to better deal with our own struggles and become better people ourselves. Stories for hope. In our lives, We often find ourselves surrounded by chaos, struggling to make sense of it all. We live in a world of uncertainty and fear, and sometimes it can feel like the only way to cope is run away from it. But if we take a moment to look closer, we can discover that stories can act as panaceas in moments of despair. Stories help us to make sense of the senselessness of life. They act as a sort of salve or remedy for the anxiety and pain that life can bring. They're like a bridge that leads us from fear and confusion to hope and understanding. By allowing us to step into another person's shoes, stories can teach us how to cope with and even embrace the uncertainty of life. Take, for example, Cinderella. This tale of a downtrodden girl who ultimately triumphs over adversity teaches us that no matter how much life tries to bring us down, we can still prevail. It reminds us that when we work hard and remain true to ourselves, we can achieve anything. Then there's the classic novel To Kill a Mockingbird, the story of a small southern town in the 1930s, full of themes of racism, injustice, and inequality. Yet despite all of this, To Kill a Mockingbird still acts as a panacea. It shows us that hope and justice can still exist in the face of hatred and bigotry. It teaches us that even in the darkest of times, there is still light and there is still good. But it's not just fairy tales and novels that act as panaceas. Movies, plays, and even songs can also be a source of comfort and hope. Take, for example, the award-winning musical Hamilton, that tells a story of Alexander Hamilton's rise to power and his eventual death, yet it also holds a powerful message of resilience and hope. It shows us that no matter how hard life gets, we can still reach our goals if we stay determined and never give up. No matter what form they take, stories act as a source of solace and comfort in times of despair. They give us hope when the world feels bleak, a powerful source of strength and courage, and giving us a sense of hope from the senselessness. Stories for a healthy relationship. Romantic comedies. Yes, I managed to work romance into another podcast episode. Romantic comedies are one of the most beloved genres of cinema and literature. And this genre of stories serves as a template for healthy relationships, well, stick with me, by portraying how two people can find lasting love and friendship. While romantic comedies often focus on the fun and comedic sides of relationships, they also provide lessons on how to build and maintain healthy relationships. By exploring common relationship issues and providing solutions, these stories can help viewers and readers understand the dynamics of a successful partnership. Romantic comedies often focus on the importance of communication in a relationship, and communication is essential for a healthy relationship because it allows partners to express their feelings and address any issues that arise. So in the comedy When Harry Met Sally, Harry and Sally become friends despite their differences. Throughout the movie, Harry and Sally learn how to compromise and how to communicate effectively. They learn to recognize each other's strengths and weaknesses, and they learn to talk through their disagreements. And this film demonstrates the importance of being able to express one's true feelings and listen to one's partner's point of view. Another lesson that romantic comedies teach is the importance of honesty. Honest and open communication is essential for a healthy relationship, and this is something that's explored in many romantic comedies. The movie Notting Hill focuses on the importance of being honest with one another. In the film, Will and Anna have to navigate their relationship while dealing with the pressures of fame and media. And during this process, Will and Anna learn to trust each other and to be honest about their feelings. And this demonstrates how honesty is essential for a healthy relationship and can help partners bring a strong foundation of trust. Romantic comedies also explore the importance of compromise in relationships. In the movie You've Got Mail, the characters Joe and Kathleen have to learn to compromise in order to make their relationship work. And throughout the course of the movie, Joe and Kathleen learn how to give and take when it comes to their disagreements. In the end, they realise that true love requires compromise and mutual understanding, and by exploring the importance of compromise, this movie serves as an example of how to make relationships more successful. Aside from the lessons in communication, honesty and compromise, romantic comedies also explore the importance of having fun. So in the movie The Proposal, for example, It focuses on the importance of finding joy in the relationship and understanding how to make each other laugh. And by exploring the lighter side of relationships, these stories provide viewers with an example of how to have a good time with their partner. And this demonstrates that relationships should not be taken too seriously. I mean, who wants to be in a literally serious relationship, right? Having fun is essential. Stories for psychological balance. We want stories that will inspire us and help us find balance in our lives. Storytelling helps us to explore the complexities of our inner worlds and our relationships with others. It enables us to find meaning in our experiences. Stories can be a powerful way to capture the essence of our psychological challenges and to explore different ways to cope with them. By understanding our own stories, we can gain insight into how different situations have impacted our lives and how we can work on our own psychological balance. People have been telling stories for centuries, and by doing so, they have developed models for psychological balance. The stories we tell can help us see the importance of taking care of our mental health. In some stories, the characters are able to find a balance between their desires and their responsibilities, while in other stories, the characters are unable to find a way to manage their own emotions and end up facing serious consequences. Stories can also help us to understand the importance of self-care and how to take care of our mental health. From stories, we can learn about the importance of self-compassion and how to practice mindfulness. We can also learn about the power of positive thinking, how to better manage our stress levels, and how to foster healthy relationships. In stories, we can find lessons on how to develop resilience in the face of adversity and how to cope with difficult emotions. We can also learn how to practice self-care and how to recognize our emotional triggers. Through stories, we can find examples of how to practice self-reflection and how to learn from our mistakes. By reading stories, we can gain insight into our own psychological balance and be inspired to make positive changes in our own lives. We can explore different aspects of our mental health, such as understanding our feelings and emotions, developing self-confidence, and fostering positive relationships. Stories are a powerful way to learn about psychological balance. They can help us to understand our lives better and make meaningful connections with ourselves and with those around us. By reading stories, we gain valuable insight into our own lives and find models for psychological balance. Before I wrap up, I invite you to do all the usual stuff. You know the drill: like, review, share and subscribe. But better than all of that, come and visit me at thebookcoach.co. You can sign up for my free self-editing guide and take a look at the services I provide. But there's tons, and I mean tons, of free useful stuff on my blog too. Final thoughts. Well, stories, they've been a part of our lives since the dawn of time. The stories we tell can be powerful, emotional, and inspiring. They can touch our hearts and motivate us to strive for greatness. Every story is unique, and the reasons we write them can vary. Ultimately, though, the purpose of our stories is to share our experiences with others in order to inspire, entertain, and create a connection. Writing stories is a way for us to bring our thoughts to life in a tangible way. It allows us to capture our feelings, our ideas, and our dreams and share them with the world. It can be a way to express ourselves and connect with others, even if we don't know them personally. Through stories, we can open up to others, keep our memories alive, and even share our knowledge and wisdom. Stories can also be used to pass on important life lessons, and through stories we can teach each other the power of resilience, courage, and determination. We can also show them the power of kindness and the importance of empathy. By writing stories, we can give others hope and remind them that they are never alone. Stories can also be an escape for us. We can create imaginary worlds and characters and explore them without the restrictions of reality. And this can be a way for us to express our creativity and explore, well, anything. Finally, writing stories can be a powerful form of self-expression. we can use stories to express our emotions, our hopes and our dreams and our outlook on life. Through stories, we can talk about difficult topics that we may not otherwise be comfortable discussing in person. We can also use stories as a way to explore our identity and find out who we truly are. In short, the reasons we write stories for others are vast and varied. And as I said before, every story is unique, and the reason for writing it can be different for each person. Ultimately, though, we write stories to share our experiences, impart knowledge, explore our imaginations, and express our true selves. Through stories, we can create a connection with others and make a difference in the world. And for that, they will always be an essential part of the human experience. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I'm conscious there are a lot of podcasts out there, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to mine. But also, well done for investing some time in your own writing life. And yes, this podcast is about writing, but I'm here for you, not just your stories.